What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Thrive Forever Fit Show. As always, I'm your host, Jay Nixon. And as always, we are going to do a little disruption today, a little inspiration. And my big hope is some transformation that we get you to that place and space that you deserve and desire to be. Now, today's episode, we have got Miss Ashley back. If you've been following this at all, her journey is to lose 60 pounds in 6 months. We're about 90 days into that process. And today you're going to find out where she is along that journey. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Today is going to be one of my favorites because it's struggling right now. Things aren't going as she wishes they were. And this is, I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. Struggle is the success separator. Think about that because it gives you the opportunity. You can quit or you can persevere. Everyone struggles, but not everyone perseveres because you get those two options. The universe affords you a decision and you get to make it. Today, we're going to find out what Ashley's decision is. Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a rock star episode. Make sure you're part of the Wellness Lab Launchpad, my free Facebook group, so you can get all the daily updates on her journey, her personal video diaries, her workouts, her everything. Get over there. It's just an awesome place to be, whether you want to follow Ashley or not. It's just a rock star place with a bunch of rock star humans just like yourself. So let's get into the show, guys. This is going to be a fun one. I'm excited. All right, buddy. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Are you? Good.
Yeah.
Good. So we are, I did a little intro, so we don't have to go into the formalities. Everybody knows why we're here, what we're doing. We're about 90 days into a 6-month process, and it's ugly right now. It's
Did not like February.
February. You know what? This is going to be my favorite episode so far because of the reality of the situation. Like everything else so far has been it's been great. It's been fun. You've been having some success. People are loving it. You're loving it. I'm loving it. But that's not reality, right? I mean, the weight loss is not linear. Success isn't linear. And that's being proven by, where you are right now. So why don't you just give me your synopsis of February?
Okay, I gotta watch my mouth. No,
you don't. Let it roll, man. We can go rogue here.
I mean, I'm down 3 pounds, almost 3 pounds, which isn't the worst ever. But I had a massive scale freeze that turned into major mindset problems. I feel like that's a good summary of February, and there's a lot to it more than that, obviously, but that would be a good summary of it.
Yeah. See, this is my favorite part of the process. And I say that, people are like, what do you mean it's your favorite part of the process? She just said she's here's the reality of the situation. This is the part of the game where we get to see if you really want to play or not, right? This is the part of the game when, you played sports your whole life. I've played sports my whole life. Most people have played some kind of sports. The analogy is this is that game when it's the third quarter and you're getting your ass kicked. You're just, there's no other way to say it. You're getting your ass kicked. The scoreboard is not in your favor. And it's, what are you going to do? Are you the player who's going to show up and keep playing hard, if not harder? Or are you the player that's going to start quitting? You can see it we all played with these people. You can see it in their eyes. They quit. And we still had half a game to play. So you get to make a decision. Are you still going to play or are you going to quit? What are you going to do?
I'm not quitting.
Right.
I'm not quitting. I doubled down on all the journaling and the gratitude and the this and that. And so, I think that was helpful. I'm not saying I'm totally out the other end, but I feel like I'm now to a different spot where I can look back, soak it in, see what I did right, see what I did wrong, and move forward. But man, it was a big mind game right there with the frozen scale, for sure.
Totally. And let's talk about some sabotage that kind of went on, because these podcasts, guys, I want you to understand, they're as much for Ashley as they are for you, as they are for me. Like, these are so that, she's basically allowing herself to be a guinea pig. I don't think you can do stuff on guinea pigs anymore, but I think it's still an okay analogy. Save the guinea pigs. She's allowed herself to be a guinea pig for a process that everyone is either going through, gone through, or will go through. Weight loss is a challenging, it's a dynamical, I've been using that word a lot lately. It's not even a word, but I really like it. I like it a lot. I think it flows. It's powerful. People are like, what? Dynamic? Sounds awesome. Anyway, it's a dynamical thing that nobody has the formula to. Like, well, I mean, there is a formula, but nobody follows the formula because it's not sexy. It's not easy. I've been saying this all week. Awesome and easy don't coexist. Like, they just don't. Like, anything in your life you've ever done that's been freaking awesome has usually not been like super easy. And that's kind of where we are. So let's talk about sabotage. Let's talk about, and I want you to know, I saw this shit coming and I had to keep my mouth shut. I was like, oh God, I see it. It's coming. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. And I'm going to tell you how I knew it was coming. And I forecasted it. And we're going to so tell me what happened.
First of all, thanks for putting that energy out in the universe for me to fail.
I did not. I just knew it was going to happen. I can't help the shit I know. I can't help it if I know shit. Like, the universe or God speaks to me and I'm like, I know, bro, I know we're not going to tell her. Okay.
No, we are moving
And that's
forward.
what happened. And we have to let you go through this shit on your own. But let's fix it. So go ahead and tell me what happened.
Well, I'm giving you permission in the future to give me a heads up. I'm very open to that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the frozen scale was weeks long, and it's extra frustrating when you're doing all the things perfectly. Like, I feel like there has to be some sort of payoff. So I was looking for other ways to like see my wins. Like, I've lost 16.25 inches. Workouts are better, this, that, and the other. So that would feed me for a day or two, but then it would always come back to that stupid scale. So then I kind of started playing a few games. I felt like, you know what, I'm going to do a reward meal. And not that I was like, I mean, I had cravings and stuff, but not that I was like dying, to eat off my personal plan or whatever. So I did the reward meal, and that was awesome. And I like circled right back to my habits, and I felt really proud of myself. And then came, so that was like on a Saturday. Then came Monday. Kids were home. It was like -3 billion degrees. I had a kiddo that had oral surgery, so we just had all of this ice cream. And I had the case of the fuckets. I was like, who cares that I just like totally had a great reward meal, turned right back into my habits, killed it. Fuck it. I literally did it. And it was a full day of the fuckets, and then just like a little dribbles of it a couple more days that week. So that's how I handled that.
Okay. And listen, what you just described is normal behavior that everyone listening has gone through and probably will go through, and all of those things. Like, it's normal to go through that process. But I saw this coming because, humans we're really predictable creatures. We honestly are. So you haven't had a reward meal. You've been very adamant about like, I don't need it. I don't want it. It's not my jam, whatever. And I kept saying, like, if you want it, take it. Like, I was encouraging you. I'm like, if you want it, take it. Like, have a monster cookie, have a whatever it is. Like, be cool. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. And you were like, no, I'm not doing it. And then when I read the post about the reward meal, what stuck out to me, what had nothing to do with the reward meal. I didn't even care about that. That's part of the process. I'm down for that. People always ask me, Jay, what can I eat on my reward meal? And I'm like, why would you want me to tell you? Hell if I know. I don't even know what you like. So what I noticed out of that post was this. You had already started using language that I knew was not going to be beneficial for you as the days went on past the reward meal. You used the word shame before you even had the reward meal. You forecasted and said, I'm going to have this reward meal, blah, 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 and I'm not going to feel shame for it. And I was like, oh shit, we're going to have a problem. Because the human brain, by saying you weren't going to feel shame for it, your brain had already started a shameful process. And everybody's like, well, what do you mean? Why doesn't make any sense? It's human psychology. If you weren't going to feel shame for it, then you would have never even recognized the shame in the first place. So that's
confusing, Jay, because I thought I had amazing awareness, that I'm not going to feel this like I normally
Yeah.
do. I thought that was great. I didn't
I'll
think
give
it
you a
was going to
perfect
be
example.
my,
I will right now, like if there was a cheesecake in the other room and I was in the mood for cheesecake, I would go crush it. But the shame would never even come into my mind. I wouldn't have to tell myself, I don't need to be shameful for this. I don't need to be upset about this. This is not a bad thing. This is not a whatever. So what I want everybody to hear and what I want you to hear is like, I knew that this was going to be problematic, not in the fact that you said, I'm going to have this reward meal. That's a tough thing to say, reward meal. That I'm going to have this reward meal, but I'm not going to have shame about it. But the fact that you were already thinking, right? Thoughts become things. You were already thinking shame in your brain. So the question is, if you weren't going to feel shame for it, then why were you even bringing shame into the equation? Why were you even bringing it into your ecosystem or into the process? So I knew what was going to happen, and it was like clockwork. 2 or 3 days after that, you even put a big post up about it. You had the reward meal, and then I paid attention. And the next post after that was like, I crushed the reward meal. It was amazing, and I'm not going to be shameful about this. And I'm like, oh shit, we're about to have a problem. And this is what happens. And so all I want everybody to listen, we're going to use, this is like a coaching session right now. You guys are getting free access to. I would have the same conversation with Ashley if you guys weren't even listening. It's the process of that thought process that you went through with the whole reward meal in and of itself. Like the fact that you forecasted that you weren't going to, didn't need to have any shame with it, which is 1,000,000,000% true. But what we've got to get ourselves to a place of, you and everybody listening, is why is that word even in your vocabulary? It's because in the past, you have felt shame for the ways you've treated yourself with food. And I don't give a shit who you are. Those habits are hard to break. And so all it was an unconscious process that was happening in your brain that you were not even aware of. You had convinced yourself with it. I'm kicking ass. Like I'm not shameful of anything. And your subconscious brain was like, you silly little joker. And that's what happens, because we have to deprogram that shame out of our existence, because we have associated for so long a pizza, a donut, or whatever it is. Well, that's a shameful behavior. That's a shameful act because I'm overweight. Overweight people don't deserve to eat foods like that. Therefore, I should feel shame because of that. You didn't even know any of that was going on.
No.
Right. In your brain, you're like, I got this. I'm about to knock this out. And then 3 days later, it's a full-blown sabotage shit show. So yes. I love that. Like I said, this is my favorite. I'm glad you're where you are right now, because that sounds crazy. No,
I am too, actually.
Because here's what most people do, right? Like right now is that pivotal moment. Like not this moment, but you guys get what I'm saying. She's at a pivotal juncture in this journey. You guys listening are probably at a pivotal juncture in this journey where you get to make a decision. Like, and I said this earlier this week in a post. All adversity everything Ashley's going through right now is God, the universe, whatever it is you believe in, just giving you the opportunity to really see if you want the shit that you said you wanted. Because if you don't, guess what? You got an out, right? It's too hard. It's not, this sucks. This is no fun. And you can think of a laundry list of excuses why you don't listen. I got 17 kids at home. We got this, we got that, you know what I mean? Like work. You could make up. I mean, you could legitimately, you yourself could make up a list of 20 things why you could just say, you know what, this isn't the right time. But when would the right time be? So you get to choose your hard, right? This is hard,
right?
But guess what's harder? Like 20 years from now, when you're dependent upon a medical system that's broken, when you're dependent upon pharmaceuticals that aren't there to help you, they're there to make you a customer for life. Like that's really hard. So what you're going through right now is just challenging. So it goes back to that thing of like, what are you going to do? What's the next step? Like, where are you right now after February, which was a shit show? Like, how are we moving into March? Like, what's our mindset right now?
I'm actually really excited because I feel like I gleaned so much knowledge from February about those ingrained habits you're talking about. And then like I feel like I learned that I subconsciously sabotage myself when I am succeeding. And I can see that back in my life almost every diet I've done. So I think my body just has like a certain point it feels most comfortable at. And when I am succeeding beyond that, like I'm subconsciously like trying to get back there. And so I know all that now. So I'm excited. I think March is going to be really awesome. I know the scale will do what it did before, but like being out the other end, like that, like binging and stuff did not benefit me one bit. You know, none of the process did. The binging, the shame, all the emotions that went around it. So I feel like I've got a higher awareness moving into March. So, you know, because the thing is my workouts are awesome and most of the time my food's awesome. My morning habits, my journaling, my meditation probably is the best it's been. It's just now I've got to like put that all back together. And so I'm planning to have a really exciting month.
Good. I mean, you sent me a note after that, you know, that sabotage. And I think that I just sent you one sentence back and I said, you know, you were talking about shame and all those things. And I just said, how has that served you in the past?
Never.
Right. So we need to ask ourselves those questions. Like when we continually do the same behavior, like we sabotage, we binge, we do all that, then we feel the shame, then we feel the guilt, then we embarrassed and all this crazy shit. Like the question to ask yourself is, I've done this how many times? More than I can count on two hands. And has that ever served me? Has that ever gotten me over the adversity? Has it ever gotten me through the challenge or through the adversity? The answer is no, every single time. So the thing to do is you have to start doing different things. You have to behave differently, think differently, and say, listen, that shame didn't serve me. That guilt didn't serve me. Guilt and shame are such wasted emotions, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Like this has popped into my brain. This is a really crude and weird analogy. Like people who do horrible things, like horrible people, right? Which you're not, I'm not, nobody listening is. They don't feel guilt and shame, right? Like people who murder people, like they're just habitual murderers. Is that a thing? Like people who do things habitually, like they're not sitting around the house being like, God, you know what? I should not have done that. That was just a horrible thing to do. No, right? So it's a wasted emotion because for us, it's like you didn't do anything wrong. Like you didn't do anything that deserve, like those people should feel guilt and should feel shame and they don't. Right. But us normal, like amazing human beings, like we do something as simple as go on a little bit of a binge tour and then we just kick our own ass. I mean, we act like we've robbed a bank or that we've like, you know, murdered, you know, a whole family of chimpanzees or something that we shouldn't have done. And why? Like, what's the point of it? There's no positive benefit at the end of the day for that. And so that's why I ask you that question, like, how has this served you in the past? Because I want you to answer that. You know the answer, right? When you answer the question for yourself, then you can make and create a new answer. So we're positively moving into March. You do have all the systems and the tools. Let's talk about that upper limiting for a second, because I know it's something that every single human struggles with, me included. It's part of who we are. Like it's ingrained into our DNA. It's almost like a safety mechanism. What we have to realize is that like we deserve, like I put a post up today before this call and it said something to the effect of like, your possibilities are limitless. Like we have the ability to do anything, to be, do, and have anything we desire. And the thing that's going to get in our way most of the time is simply us. Like we'll get in our own way. Like we'll get in our own way with weight loss, with relationships, with like, think about all the relationship, not you particularly, but you guys listening, think about all the relationships that you've just effed up, right? Most of the time it's been you. Like you've been the jackass in the situation, or the other person has been, right? And it's because one of you, like you do stupid shit that you just normally wouldn't do. Like you'll create fights, you'll create drama, you'll create nonsense, you'll create problems. And that's really what you've done for yourself in February. Like you've created some problems for yourself to keep yourself in that stagnant place. And then and I'm glad you've got an awareness around that, because what the normal person would do is they would create that list of like 10 to 20 things of why this isn't the right time. This isn't the right place. This isn't the right that. So let's talk about that. Why have you defined yourself or made that definition of that level that you're at, that you do feel comfortable? Like where you use the phrase, my body feels comfortable, right? which is cute, but it's silly. But what does that mean to you? Like, talk us through that, because a lot of people are either feeling that exact same way or like, what does she mean by that?
I feel like I just, no matter what diet I've done and stuff, I always end up like in the 220s, like
Mhm.
225s, mid to upper. And we had a coaching call like early last year, and I was like, my body just loves 225. And you're like, your body does not love 225. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh,
Like I never thought through that very well. But so I think I'm like approaching that. Like I'm in the 230s right now. So like I said, subconsciously, I think I'm just like, okay, there's the comfort spot, but I am I'm sure people aren't wondering, but I'm in this. I'm in this till the end of the 6 months and beyond. So I mean, I've got to work through that comfort zone, because it's been a safe, comfortable place. Like I don't dislike my body at that weight. I, kind of settle there, and even when I'm not being conscious of what I'm eating. So it's gonna definitely be something that I have to work through.
yeah. And the process in and of itself isn't about liking or not liking your body, right? Like, and so I want people to
Yeah.
understand that as well. Like, this is, I mean, Ashley doesn't feel shameful about how she looks right now. This is just a quest for like longevity and wellness and
Hmm.
like, optimal health. And so, in and of that, like, so I want people to understand when I say like your body doesn't like 225, I only say that from a perspective of like you said this to me the other day. Like you sent me a note and you're like, I'll be glad when the squat challenge is over because your knees are it's bothering your knees.
Yeah.
And I made it. I said something the other day, and it was just this wasn't even related to you, but it was somebody else was telling me. Everybody who comes to me tells me that I have bad feet, or I have bad knees, or I have a bad back, or they usually say I have a problem with my knees. And I said to somebody, and it just came out of my mouth, and I don't know why I say shit like that. I'm like, your knees have a problem with you. Like, it's not that you have a problem with your knees. You're the one being the asshole. Your knees they're just hanging out. They're
Yeah.
trying to do what they want to, they're trying to do what they were designed to do. But I mean, so you don't have a problem. They do. We got to start thinking differently. So when you're going in and telling your personal trainer, oh, hey, I've got a problem with my feet. No, you got a weight problem. And the
Yeah.
weight problem is pissed your feet off. Like, do your feet a favor and lose some of that weight. And then your feet will no longer be pissed at you.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. And I also choose to do a ton of exercise
Of course.
overweight, so there's going to be side effects to doing so much exercise overweight. My complaint slash comment to you was more, I like to feel 100%. Like that's
I
my
agree.
favorite homeostasis. We talk about that. I like to feel that way because I want to push through all the Peloton workouts I want to do. I want to
Yeah.
lift hefty and all that stuff. And doing 100 squats a day at my weight,
Yeah.
my knees are mad at me. So
Listen, you
I
guys
hear
think
you.
you got problems? I've got old man ass. You know what happens when you turn 40? Yeah. You turn 40 and your ass just if you're a man, your ass just goes away. Like, I put on some pants a few months ago. I looked at Lori and I'm like, something happened to my ass. Like, I don't, it's gone. So I'm upset.
I'd
I'm just
be
upset as you
I'd be
guys are.
really sad if that happens. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
devastated.
I hope you never get old man ass. I don't wish that upon anybody. So I'm in here squatting, trying to grow this little penis or something. You know what I mean? I get you. I feel it. Like, I'm tired of squatting too, but when you got goals, you got to do things. Well,
So we're pawns in your journey.
oh, absolutely. It's all for, I think everything we do, I'm like, how do we get rid of this old man ass? We squat. So everybody else might as well do it with me.
Love it.
I mean, literally, I'm going to be honest with you. I am, like you said, and you agree with this, right? But you've got that mindset. Like, this is that time in the game, guys. I just want to reiterate this because you might be in this same place in your journey where you're losing the game, right? And you've got that choice of like when we were kids and you take your ball and go home, or you keep playing, right? And so the answer is always to keep playing and to find those things that you can rest on that are going to move you to the next place. And by rest on, I mean like your standards. Like, what are the little things that you can do on the daily that are going to get you to the places that you want to go? It's not going to be anything grandiose. Like, for Ashley to get this frozen scale or whatever word it was we're using to move, it's not going to be anything grandiose. It's not going to be a liver cleanse, for lack of a better term. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's going to be consistency and commitment. And I hate to say this, but it has to be said. Wherever you are in your journey, Ashley included, me included, is exactly where you deserve to be based on the decisions that you've made. Like, Ashley's body didn't ask her to be at a certain weight, like whatever that weight was, when she started. And now she wants to be somewhere different. And so she doesn't just get to have those results because she desires it. She's going to have to work toward those things. It's not going to be linear. It's not going to be easy. Everybody needs to write this down, that awesome and easy do not coexist. And easy never ends up being easy in the end. Like if you choose the easy path, it never leads to anywhere fantastic. So go through the struggle, choose your suck, choose your hard. And I promise you at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. Any parting words before we roll?
No, I mean, plan wise, I'm just going to put my blinders on and keep doing everything, not try to manipulate anything. And so I'm excited to move forward. I'm in the game though. I just want everyone to hear that.
Oh, no,
I did not take my ball and go home.
Nobody doubts you. I don't know. Listen, I know you wouldn't do that. I know that's not your personality. But when I say that, I want people in the journey that are either with you quietly or listening along to know that, like, no matter who you are, where you are, or what it is you're trying to do, these moments pop up. Like whether it's relationships or finances or weight loss or any kind of success journey that you're on, we all face these adversities where it's like we have these months. February for Ashley, that was zero fun. Like it's not fun to be stuck, guys. And I talked about this yesterday on our coaching call with the Thrive Forever Fit group. I use the phrase fall in love with the process all the time. And I think people get confused that, like, well, if I'm in love with the process, it's just going to be easy and it's going to be fun. Everything's going to be it's great, Jay. This is amazing. That's not what I mean. I say fall in love with the process because it's going to suck. And if you're in love with it, you won't leave it. If you're just liking it, you're going to leave that joker and go find something else to do, that's why we stay stuck, guys, is because we're constantly chasing the rabbit. So just get in the game and keep playing, regardless of the score. You keep showing up and playing at your maximum capacity, and you're going to win in the end. I promise you.
Good words.
Word. All right, guys, we'll see you again in 30 days. Ashley, let's go. I'm proud of you. Let's keep moving.
It.
All right, guys, Thanks. Love you. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Thrive Forever Fit Show. As always, I'm your host, Jay Nixon. And as always, we are going to do a little disruption today, a little inspiration. And my big hope is some transformation, that we get you to that place and space that you deserve and desire to be. Now, today's episode, we have got Miss Ashley back. If you've been following this at all, her journey is to lose 60 pounds in 6 months. We're about 90 days into that process. And today you're going to find out where she is along that journey. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Today is going to be one of my favorites because it's struggling right now. Things aren't going as she wishes they were. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Struggle is the success separator. Think about that, because it gives you the opportunity. You can quit or you can persevere. Everyone struggles, but not everyone perseveres, because you get those two options. The universe affords you a decision and you get to make it. Today, we're going to find out what Ashley's decision is. Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a rock star episode. Make sure you're part of the Wellness Lab Launchpad, my free Facebook group, so you can get all the daily updates on her journey, her personal video diaries, her workouts, her everything. Get over there. It's just an awesome place to be, whether you want to follow Ashley or not. It's just a rock star place with a bunch of rock star humans just like yourself. So let's get into the show, guys. This is going to be a fun one. I'm excited.